Now, obviously, I'm not a fan of plagiarizing and like straight up lifting somebody's hook or lifting somebody's lyrics from this song or from that song. But there's also a little known piece of songwriter wisdom, which goes like this: great songs aren't written, they're rewritten. And so if you're a songwriter, you probably know what I'm talking about. But I feel like this also applies to sampling. The show this evening is how to steal songs. So, my question for you guys in the comment section is, what's your opinion of stuff like sampling, remixing, covering music? Is it bad? Is it better to just start from scratch and write something brand new? I mean, all the great songs have already been written, right? But all the great songs have not already been sampled. So, what's your opinion on that? What do you think? Is it lazy? Is it a cop out? First of all, what's the difference between sampling, remixing, covering? So, a sample is like what I have on this track right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the drums out of it and I'm just going to leave the sample. And leave a comment if you recognize where this sample comes from. It's a little bit obscure, but I think my lovely producer, Jessica, is going to recognize it. Let's see what I got here. So here's the first little audio example. So let's get the drums out of there. That's all I started off with. And you can hear there's kind of like a guitar sound in there, maybe a little bit of strings or something. This is the beauty of sampling, folks, is that you don't really know what it is. It doesn't really matter. It just kind of has to sound good, and it just all kind of has to flow together, and it doesn't really even have to be in the same key as your beat, but I tend to be pretty picky about stuff like that. All right, so let's keep moving here. So that is a sample, right? It's like a little clip, and it might just be one little note that you're taking out of that sample. What about remixing? Because I've done a lot of remixing. Actually, I've decided on YouTube, based off of my analytics data, to kind of let the original music take a little bit of a backseat and focus down on the remixing because they just do so amazingly well on YouTube. And so a remix might be not just a little piece of a sample or a song, but trying to leave it mostly intact because you definitely want the listener to know where that is coming from. So generally with remixes, the title has not changed. The only thing that's changed is, well, the artist has changed, obviously. That's about it. Same title, usually it's the same arrangement, same key even. However, you have a little flexibility with remixing as well. You could change the tempo. You could rearrange it a little bit. But the point is, you want it to be recognized. Not true with sampling, right? A lot of times with sampling, actually, you don't want it to be recognized. Like the more obscure it is, the better, right? So that brings us to covering, which if you've watched this channel, you've seen a lot of all of these things. But covering is generally playing the song the exact same way, trying to get it as close to the original as humanly possible, with leaving very little room for any kind of changes. Sometimes with jazz covers, you can change it, maybe just put a guitar solo into it or something like that. But covering is probably the least obscuring method. So we went from the weirdest, most changed to remixing, where it's optional, to covering, where it's usually not changed that much at all. So what I'm going to do first here is I'm going to do a quick jam with this beat, and we're going to check out some of these cassettes that I got. I only brought out two, but I brought out two that I'm not super familiar with here. So what I have first is a Zap cassette. So this is Zap, and if you know Zap, you know there's going to be some vocoding, you know there's going to be some funk, there's going to be some drum machine action, and this is, yep, Roger Troutman and Zap. Secondly, I have, and this one just looked interesting. This is a fine gentleman by the name of Fishbone, and let me get it out of the light there. Fishbone, if you can see, and Fishbone has what is this called? This is called "One in Your Face" by Fishbone. I have no idea. I don't know if this is a hip hop CD. I don't know if this is jazz. I don't know if this is funk. We'll find out. We're learning together tonight, folks. And also leave a comment if you recognize these guys, if you know who they are. Don't forget to hit that like button if you're feeling my threads this evening, as well as don't forget to turn on the notifications on the channel, subscribe, do all that great stuff, because you just don't want to miss a notification for this show, right? I mean, let's face it.